In partnership with the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, WCP established Zambia's first pangolin rehabilitation center. Come along as we speak to Suwilanji Sichone, Pangolin's Programme Manager. She will be talking to us about the release of pangolins and the post-release monitoring. Let's go. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be on set.
I'm glad you're here too. Obviously, the first question I always try to start with is something that one has been on my mind or something that I have observed from social media or picked up from a conversation that I was having. And something that came to me this morning is, how do you decide or determine when to release a pangolin?
All right. Thank you very much for that very important question. So the first thing we'll be doing is looking at the health of the pangolin. And when we talk about the health of the pangolin, we are talking about its, is it disease-free?
Yeah.
Is it...
Obviously.
Yes. Is it walking normally? Is it vibrant? Is it eating normally? Because those are the kind of parameters we'll be looking at. And then when we see that all those things are normal, then we will be preparing this pangolin for release. And I must be quick to say that we actually do a thorough veterinary check.
Okay.
Yeah, so that we make sure the blood samples are collected, the fecal samples are collected for laboratory diagnosis, that is. And when they are cleared, the pangolin is given a clean bill of health, then we are happy. This pangolin can go back.
I really like that. It almost sounds like preparing a human being to be discharged once you are in hospital. And then what happens after that? This pangolin has been released. It's back in its natural habitat. What do you do next? What happens on your end? Yeah,
so before we take this pangolin out on release, we actually also have to know the environment to which we are taking it to. You may be aware that most of our national parks where we release these pangolins are sometimes have roads that are impassable during certain times of the year, like the rainy season
is
correct.
Impossible.
Yes, it's impassable. So when we see that that place where we intended to release the pangolin is not good enough, then we change a location. But generally, we'll be taking back this animal from where it was collected or poached from. So that's one of the determinants. And we look at this place and we say, okay, now we can take this pangolin back to that area.
Okay. That obviously is very exciting. And I think your work on its own is exciting as it is. Now, talk to us about this post-release monitoring. What is it? Why is that important?
So post-release monitoring, a little background about it.
Yes, please.
We have been rehabilitating pangolins since 2018 to date, and we really did not understand what was happening behind the scenes whenever we release these pangolins. We release them, and we don't know much about what will happen. Are they going to survive? Are they going to be? Are they going to live beyond what we did with them to conserve them? So we decided, let's check what happens.
Yeah, let's find out.
Let's find out, yes. So we started a program where we started monitoring these pangolins. By doing so, we would be making use of technology, scientific technology. We use tracking devices, which we place on these pangolins, and then we use technology, computers. We sit on our laptops, desktops, and we are monitoring because these devices are connected to our computers. So we are able to tell where these pangolins are, how they are settling in, and what's going on. So, that's how we started. And importance.
Yeah. Why is it important?
Yes. Why is it important? Yeah, because, there's been a lot of talk about the pangolins. We don't know what happens afterwards. So it's important. We need to know how these animals live. Firstly, if you went onto Google, for example, and searched about pangolins, there's very little information there. So our idea was that we need to add a little bit of knowledge, not even a little bit. We have to add some knowledge to the body of science because this is a form of research. And if we do this, then we are able to inform our partners, we are able to inform people outside the public about how this pangolin is supposed to survive out there in the wild.
Okay. Your work is also very pioneering, being the only pangolin rehabilitation center in Zambia. I want to, and from what you've told me, it sounds like also a lot of investment, not only financially, but also emotionally. Let's talk about a success story that has stayed with you. Maybe a few success stories that have stayed with you regarding pangolins.
All right. So within the 7 years we've been running this project.
Oh, wow, 7?
Yes. So we had one baby pangolin that we recovered from Western Province. And this baby came with the mother. She was actually given birth to when the mother was in captivity. They were awaiting that they release the pangolin because they thought, okay, the pangolin looks all right and we are about to release it. So the following morning, when they opened the door, they found there were 2 pangolins, a baby and the mother. Yes. Yeah. Now the baby, I will tell you that was around 200 grams when it's born. That is roughly less than a bottle of Coca-Cola or Fanta.
Oh, that's so small.
It's so small.
Very light.
Yes, it would fit in the palms of your hands. So these pangolins had to be transported together. Mm-hmm. So the people who were in Western Province had to move them from one box to the other, and just to make sure that these pangolins were comfortable. Mm-hmm. In the process, this pangolin was rejected by the mother because the human touch and everything the human touch kind of imprints their taste or smell on these particular animals. And these animals were okay. They were healthy. Health-wise, they were okay. But the mother refused to feed the baby. So how were we going to help this pangolin? And we saw that the baby was looking very weak. So we took it over, started hand feeding with milk. We have a milk formula that we formulize. Mm-hmm. We used that milk for about 3 months, and then the baby was doing very well. Oh. Eventually, we introduced it to the natural environment, taught it how to eat its natural food, and we were so lucky that this pangolin actually just took up this food without a lot of struggle. Eventually, we stayed with it for a year. It grew older, and because we have weight eligibility
before
standard
release.
For release, yes. So the standard would be something above 6 kilograms, and to get that, it takes over a year. We actually stayed with this pangolin for close to 2 years. Oh, wow. So we released her in this natural environment, and the natural environment, I will promise you, is very well protected and was very green. There was a lot of food. We stayed with her for about a week before she walked away. And yeah, she did well, and that was it.
That sounds like that's a wonderful story. It almost sounds like you were taking care of an actual human child for a whole year.
For 2 years, actually.
For 2 years?
Yes, for 2 years.
That was amazing.
Thank you very much.
Again, going back to the investment, this sounds like around-the-clock type of work. Like you are there all the time.
Yeah, so this requires for the baby, you need about 6 hours of feeding. You have to wake up in the night. Mm-hmm. And it's a full-time job. It's a mother's job, full-time job. You have to feed. And the milk, I'll have to tell you, is not very cheap. It's very expensive. And we were very lucky. Our donors were there at hand to help us, to chip in, to try and help us with the costs. We needed to change the baby's blankets because obviously it will answer its call of nature in the blankets. Yes. And you need to wash these blankets regularly. You need to keep it warm. The mother is not there. You need heaters. You have to simulate the natural environment of this pangolin. So that is not a very small price you pay. It's very costly, and really we needed a lot of support.
That does sound like an amazing story. And let's pivot a little bit back to the post monitoring release. What significant successes have you had there? What lessons have you learned?
Yeah, so significantly, we've had pangolins that have walked more than 10 kilometers. Contrary to what we believed before that, we would want to believe that the pangolin would just be in one small space, and so we've actually realized a lot of information out of how these pangolins have been moving, and then we've had these pangolins that have had maybe pups, pango pups. So that's a baby of the pangolin. We've had those that have been released without their baby because obviously the baby could not be released. It would not really survive the wild environment, considering that there was that interference during the illegal wildlife trade activity. So we've had those mothers live beyond what we believed. And we've had some pangolins coming back to us like regularly. We would, like when the officers are on patrol, they would meet this pangolin with its tracking devices.
That's such a beautiful story.
Thank you very much. And then, we'll just like bump into these pangolins and it's something that shows that we are actively conserving these pangolins and what we are doing is actually working.
I like that you brought that up because that's where I'm going to pivot to next. I want to talk about the personal toll this kind of work takes on you. You are literally at this point acting like a mother to homeless, those that haven't gone to their homes yet, but to pangolins. What is that like? How does that feel?
So I'll tell you that there's a very sad story about these pangolins, and it's not something you can detach yourself from. It actually sits in your heart, and sometimes you wonder why. For example, we've received pangolins that have had amputated limbs, amputated tails, and you are seated wondering and you're thinking, the feeling of getting a wild animal and chopping off its limbs without anesthesia, without anything. The animal is live, and somebody has the audacity to do that. And you need to heal these animals to take them back into the environment. In some cases where we haven't even taken them back, we've had to euthanize these animals because they cannot survive.
Because the damage was so bad.
It's so bad. Their quality of life would be so compromised if we took them back into the natural environment. Then the babies also, Kiki, the baby that we rehabilitated, I'll tell you that for the first 3 months, she spent nights in my bedroom.
Oh, wow.
And the toil it took on me, and that was during COVID time.
Okay.
You cannot go out. You have this baby and you have to wake up throughout the night. You are just a new mom, actually. You go back to being a new mom. If Kiki is sleeping, then you also catch up with some sleep. So it really wears you down. And the moment of release was the worst part because now, okay, this is my baby. And
you've been spending time together, watching over, taking care of the pangolin, and now it has to go.
That is very sad. You have this mixed feeling thing where you are happy that she's now going back into the natural environment and let her live as a pangolin. Then you are also, she's taking a part of you away. And it doesn't sit very well.
No, I can imagine.
It does take a toll on your life, and even for the animal minders, the ones who are looking after these animals, like feeding them. There are times when we can't find enough food. There are times when this animal is not doing very well. Everybody gets distressed.
I think your job is not ordinary. The amount of investment it takes, the working around the clock is quite a lot. And you're spending a significant amount of time with these animals. One would wonder, you're a scientist, what kind of toll does it take on you as a scientist and as a person?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that question because I think everyone thinks it's a very happy job. And I'll tell you that anyone who works with animals will tell you that we have our ups and downs. And I'll tell you that we have our lows with the pangolins a lot because we have some of them that come in injured. They have amputated limbs. They have no tails. They've been through treatment that is unbelievable, inhuman, so to speak. And we've had to endure going through the treatment of these animals just to try and maybe bring them back to health. And unfortunately, we've lost some. They've died because obviously they've been infected, and we lose them to a natural cause. And then there've been times also when we release these pangolins. I'll give you a good example of Kiki, the baby that we looked after. Kiki needed to be fed about 6 times a day.
Oh, wow.
Among those times were at night, and you needed to wake up all the time. And maybe I should let you know that she actually spent a lot of time with me personally. And I had to wake up all those numbers of times just to feed her and to make sure she was comfortable, make sure she was warm and all those kind of things. That was a bit exhausting, and that was during COVID time. And then the other thing, the biggest blow was when we had to release her because obviously,
bittersweet, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously she's, you are attached to this animal. You've stayed with this animal for over 2 years. And if you've kept an animal, any other animal, you will know that the attachment is very real. So to get a pangolin and take it back into its natural environment, for me was a detachment, and it was just sudden, like now it's time to take her back. It was very sad for me, but it was also a happy moment. So we had this mixed feeling kind of thing where you are happy and then you are sad. So it does take a toll on me. Not only me, the other animal minders, the keepers, they have to ensure that these animals are doing well, they're eating well, they're free from injuries or free from disease. But, when a pangolin that you've been assigned to is not doing very well, you start to feel sad because it's not doing well. And, we have this thing where we want to ensure that we give them the best we can.
Yes.
But that obviously takes a toll on these,
on them as well.
on everyone. And it's a very sad moment. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do about it, but it is what it is.
I know it's bittersweet, but I think you're doing an amazing job. You and your team are doing excellent job. All these success stories you're sharing with us, the survival rates, that's amazing work. And that on its own is great, but also putting in mind that it's a first of its kind project. That's pioneering work. No one in Zambia a few years later will not be able to talk about pangolins without making reference to you and your team. So that's amazing work.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We really appreciate. It does feel very good, like, being pioneers. But I'll tell you that there's also a downside of being pioneers. You are like shooting in the dark.
Very true.
Yeah, you're shooting in the dark all the time and you're wondering, okay, what are we going to do now? And how is it going to do? And like you are saying, when you are creating a path, it's very hard for you to move. But we are actually doing this. We are actually like sacrificial lambs. And
Really,
we hope that the people who are coming after us
will have it easier.
Will have it a bit easier, and they will not need to go through what we've gone through. But I can assure you it's a very rewarding experience.
I can imagine.
At the end of the day. And we are happy like that.
Okay. No, thank you so much for joining us today, Suilanji.
Thank you very much. I was honored to be on set with you.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us. This episode was one of a 4-part podcast series highlighting WCP's efforts in protecting pangolins in Zambia. Until next time. Pangolins need more than compassion. They need resources. Your support means better care, expanded facilities, and trained hands for every new arrival. To donate, scan the barcode on your screen or visit www.wildlifecrimeprevention.com.